Another wild night of high school football in the books. This has been week 4 of the high school football season. Time for the Under the Lights postgame show presented by KEYSYS. Wow, we've got a lot to talk about. I'm still here at the Hoover Met trying to digest what we just saw. Hewitt Trustful came on the road, beats Hoover 17-14. Huge win for the Huskies. They go to 2-0 in Region 3. And on the flip side, a tough loss for Hoover. They are now 0-2 in Region 3 play. It's going to be tough for the Bucks. They're going to have to get back up off the mat and see what they can do as we kind of get into the meat of region play, because they've started off in a little bit of a hole. Just so much to break down from this game. So like I mentioned, 17-14 Hewitt. Both teams score opening drives, touchdowns, 7-7 right off the bat. And then it got a little crazy there. Hoover scores, takes a 14-7 lead into the break. But the first drive of the third quarter, Hewitt gets 2 points after Hoover snaps the ball out of the back of the end zone to make it 14-9. That score holds for a while until Hewitt goes on a touchdown drive. Deuce Austin from 8 yards out. He scores. Hewitt gets the 2-point conversion to go ahead 17-14. They hang on from there. Some big plays in the game. Parker Floyd, linebacker for Hewitt, came up with a big interception in the second quarter. And then Harrison Malone's sack, forced a fumble recovered by Deontay Seals late in the game that allowed Hewitt to run out most of what was left of the clock. But that's 2 straight trips to the Hoover Met for Hewitt Trustful to pick up a win. And if you go to the Cahabasun.com, that's where the post-game story is. A little bit of deja vu tonight. 2 years ago in this building, number 7 quarterback Peyton Floyd leads the Huskies to the win. Tonight, freshman quarterback Jack Floyd, also wearing number 7, kind of steers the ship and helps the Huskies get the win. Big win for the Huskies, 4-0, 2-0 in region play. And I want to take a second and let's hear from some of the some post-game thoughts from head coach Josh Floyd and linebacker Parker Floyd.
How big did they come out? Yeah, our defense played great, man. They really did. I mean, I think they hung in there, kept us in the game. We were struggling offensively and just had a bunch of big stops. Great, yeah. Parker's interception was huge. It kind of shifted momentum. We didn't score on that play, but we at least were able to make a play and keep them out of the end zone.
Did you pretty much early?
Yeah, I mean, they're really good on D-line, man. And I thought, there were a couple times I thought we were about to have big plays, get several yards, and it'd be a 4-yard game. You know what I mean? And so you had to we kind of grind it out. We had to grind it out. Just proud of our guys for finding a way to win.
And then Jack seems like sometimes he was running for his life. Yeah. Man, he's hard to tackle. And,
yeah. Jack played tough, man. He's a competitor, and anybody that knows him knows that. So I'm proud of his effort. I thought our guys ran hard today as a team. We had to break some tackles. But again, just lucky to get a win, really.
How much does a win at this place to go 2-0 mean to this team?
It's great. It's huge, man. It's hard to win here. Hoover's a really good football team. Always, the biggest school in the state. They're going to have athletes every year, so they're hard to score them in. They're so fast. They're big up front, and I wouldn't say we did a great job against them, but we found a way.
That was crazy. It's a great win over here. It's always good to beat Hoover at the Met, man. It's great. It feels great.
Tell me about the interception play. What were you seeing on that play? What were you trying to do?
They kind of ran a similar play earlier in the drive, and I wasn't there, and so I knew they were probably going to come back to it. And I was with the quarterback. I knew the dig was coming, so I just right place, right time. Just had to catch it, and I did.
So huge win for the Huskies, but we've also got another big game that happened in Region 3 tonight. Vestavia Hills beats Hillcrest Tuscaloosa 42-24. That's the Hillcrest team that came into the Hoover Met last week and picked up a huge win. And Vestavia really needed this one to avoid falling into that 0-2 pit in Class 7A Region 3. So let's see, Vestavia 21-0 in the first quarter really sets the tone for that game. Let's dive into some of the stats here. It looks like for Vestavia, quarterback Charlie Taff has been just incredible this season. And tonight, 151 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, but 143 on the ground and 3 touchdowns. That's crazy. Carson Purdy added a touchdown on 67 yards rushing as well. You look at the receiving core, Bryce Lamaster had a 57-yard touchdown reception. They really love getting it. They've got some creativity that is unmatched in that Vestavia offense, because Bryce Lamaster is a quarterback. Had a receiving touchdown tonight. So really big win for the Rebels and head coach Robert Evans. They lost to Hewitt Trustful last week, really needed to get back on track. They're 1-1 in region play now, along with Hillcrest. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out as we really get going, because next week, Hewitt Trustful, this 2-0 team, pays a visit to Hillcrest. So A lot of interesting things happening. Also in Region 3, Thompson beats Oak Mountain 41-0. And so with all of those, let's dive into a couple of other scores. A little bit of a surprise. Pell City knocks off Mountain Brook 10-3. You're just not going to see the Mountain Brook offense limited like that. Obviously, the defense played well, but Pell City wins this one 10-3. A very puzzling result to those of us that have been so accustomed to Mountain Brook executing at such a high level the last several years. So I'm going to be interested to see kind of how the dust settles on that and how the Spartans will rebound from that. Also, John Carroll picks up their first win of the season tonight, a 36-26 win over Hayden. We'll talk about that region a little bit more here in a little while. Also, a Homewood team, Homewood High School, beats Woodlawn 52-7. Homewood Patriots 4-0. They are rolling right now. That schedule will get a little tougher as they go. Clay Chalkville beats Shades Valley 50-0. The Cougars, clearly one of the best teams in Class 6A, and they continue to roll tonight. Spain Park, coming off that open day, we thought this Helena matchup tonight would be a really strong test for them, and they came out hot and ended up winning 38-14. And then finally, let's take a minute. We're going to talk to Briarwood head coach Matthew Forster after the Lions get their second straight win. They're 2-0 in the region now. They knock off Carver 36-22. Let's take a moment and talk to him. Briarwood head coach Matthew Forster joins the postgame show to talk a little bit about the Lions getting their second win in the row. Coach, your Lions beat Carver 36-22. It's got to feel good to be off on a 2-0 start in region play.
Oh, absolutely. You schedule big games early in the season against 6A, 7A teams so that you can be ready for region play. We know the goal early in the year is to just be the best team we can be. We can't necessarily worry about the outcome. The outcome's for November and December. And so we're focused on just growing and becoming the best team we can be.
So what was the key tonight? Give me kind of a few of the highlights for people that weren't there.
Yeah, I think offensively, we really kind of hit our stride tonight. We're bumping in and out of packages, going inside, going outside, throwing the ball deep. Charles Dedman played a really good game tonight, real clean game. I mean, you play a good Carver team that's explosive and you have 0 turnovers. That's always one of the keys to victory. And then, but yeah, Dedman tonight just really commanded the offense. Jameson Barnes would come in, give a nice little 1-2 punch. And then, running backs played well. And just overall, it was a really quality night on offense.
How good does it feel to, we remember the start last year and it just seemed like the ball did not bounce your way several times.
Mm-hmm.
How good does it feel to have these guys get some of that taste of success early on in the season?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing. When the ball doesn't bounce your way, it's really hard. And the ability to continue to fight, to continue to improve, to not be satisfied, that's what I'll be forever grateful for last year's team is they never gave up. They kept fighting. But this year's team, when the ball bounced, sometimes they just made it bounce our way. And so that's what I'm proud of this team is they really dug in. They really figured out a way to improve and to take those up in the air situations and make them go their way. And so, it's been a remarkable improvement. The belief in the locker room that doesn't matter that we start out the season 0-2. We will be okay. That was our preseason. We're ready for region play, and then come out against 2 of the top opponents in our region and really fare well against them is really exciting.
Do you have a lot of things that you can point to that say, hey guys, we've already in 4 games made tremendous strides in these things, and yet have so much further we can go?
Yeah, I mean, you score 38 points, a great job on the offense, but still have a few penalties that we got to clean up, a few negative plays. You hate to get the drive rolling and then have a negative play. So there's things we can do there on offense. Defensively, we can always tackle better. We've got gap integrity. Really, they didn't get a lot in the first half, but our gap integrity wasn't great. And then they went to the pass game, and hey, we got to wrap up. We got to tackle. We got to protect the deep ball. And so there's always things to improve on. That's the fun part of high school. They're not ready. I mean, they're not ready to do what Josh Allen did in week 1 of the regular season because that was incredible. But we're young, we're growing, we're improving each week. And so to see the marked improvements really exciting. For me, one of those guys would be Jackson Bunn tonight on the defensive line. Gap integrity, reading the V of the neck was his two major things to work on, and he had a heck of a game. I'm really proud of him.
Awesome. Well, Coach, 2-2, 2-0 in region play, a trip to Winona next week. Good luck with that, and congrats on the win tonight.
Thank you so much.
All right, before we go tonight, let's dive into a few of the stats that we have. We already talked about Charlie Taft's huge night on the ground and through the air. We mentioned Spain Park's big win. Brock Bradley, 18 of 24, 269 yards and 3 touchdowns. His receiver, Kana Rigo, had a huge night, 4 catches, 122 yards. He had 2 of those touchdowns. Mason McClure, 10 grabs, 70 yards, a touchdown as well. So really emphatic win for the Jags. They were up 31-0 at the half. So big win for Spain Park. Let's look at a few others. John Carroll, really good for them to see them pick up that win. And let's take a look at some of the numbers from that contest. It was back and forth all night long. Garrett Barnes, 11 of 21, 135 yards, a couple of touchdowns. If you want to talk about on the ground, Aubrey Coker had 89 rushing yards and a score. So really good for the Cavs to get their first win of the year. I know head coach Will Mara will be glad to get that one. And see a few others. We talk about Homewood beating Woodlawn 52-7. This Homewood attack. Caleb Carson didn't need to throw it much tonight. 6 of 9, 132 yards, 3 scores. He scored a touchdown on half of his completions. And then if you want to look on the ground, Davis Griffin scored a touchdown. Reed Goldstein scored a touchdown. Tamon Felton had 3 catches. 2 of them went for a score. So Chappie Chaplow, 20-yard scoring run. So dominant win for Homewood. And then finally, let's take a look here from the game I was at. This Hewitt Trustful attack, C.J. Davis, Deuce Austin, and Jack Floyd, 15 carries apiece on the ground. Jack Floyd led the way with 74 yards. C.J. Davis had 58. Deuce Austin had 52. Really impressive rushing performance. Hewitt just they haven't felt the need to pass it much. Now, I will say Jack Floyd's fade route pass to Dylan Cope in the first quarter of the game was pretty impressive. And Dylan Cope just kind of went up and got it over his defender. But also, on the flip side, Jeremiah Tabb, he just continues to make highlight catches. And Auburn fans, brace yourself. But Hoover had a 3rd and 33 on their first drive of the game. And the people I was around on the sideline the question was literally asked, what do you even call here? And my response was, you hand it off and see what happens. Hoover did not follow that advice. They just let Jeremiah Tabb run down the sideline. He beat his man, and Caleb Freeman hit him for a long 44-yard touchdown. So, the dust has settled on week 4 of the high school football season. This is the Under the Lights postgame show presented by KEYSYS. All right, week 4 in the books. We figured out a lot, especially in Class 7A Region 3, and it's going to continue to get more and more interesting as we go. We mentioned this Hewitt Trustful paying a visit to Hillcrest next week. You look at teams like Mountain Brook looking to kind of get off the mat. It's cool to see teams like Briarwood and Homewood having such great success right now. So a lot still to happen in this season. We're not even halfway through the regular season, but that'll do it from tonight at the Hoover Met. It's been a wild one. Great game here, and we're hoping for more in the coming weeks. So stay tuned to the Under the Lights social media channels. You can follow me on X at Kyle Parmley. Thanks for watching. We will see you for the Week 5 preview in just a few days.